I remember when I first got Turbo and I was doing research online on what kinds of hay to feed him. A lot of the recommendations I came across weren't actually available where I live, so I wanted to make this video today to help my fellow Aussie bunny owners understand what options there are here in Australia. Generally speaking, it's best to give your bunny a variety of different grass hays for a more balanced diet. You should try to aim for 2 to 3 different types. You can think of hay as being in 3 different categories. So you've got grass hay, cereal or grain hay, and legume hay. So I'm going to talk about the legume hay first, just to get that bit out of the way. Lucerne is a very common type of legume hay. It's known as alfalfa in the US, so if you hear someone saying alfalfa, it's lucerne here. And it's very popular for racehorses because it's a very high energy hay, and that makes it good for young baby rabbits that are still growing and developing, but not really appropriate for adult rabbits because it will make them produce too many secretrips, more than they can eat, and it ends up getting stuck to their fur, makes a mess on your floor. It's very gross, and it can even put them at risk of fly strike, which is where flies lay eggs in their fur. So if your bunny's about 4, 5, 6 months old and they're starting to get a bit of a messy bottom, that's probably a sign that it's time to wean them off the lucerne hay. Another example of legume hay is clover. So clover is sometimes mixed in with other hay types, which I'll talk about a little bit later. So that's another one that you are probably best to stay away from if you've got adult rabbits. Now for grass hays, the 2 most recommended types are usually Timothy and meadow. Grass hays are typically the healthiest hays because they are very high fiber and low in everything else, like low protein, fat and calcium. With Timothy and Orchard, you can really only get those from brands like Oxbow or Burgess, and the problem that a lot of us Aussies have is they are so expensive, like $40, $45 a kilo. I do think it's still worth trying to make it a part of your bunny's diet if you can. So the cheapest way to get those is to get those like 4 kilo boxes of Timothy or Orchard from Oxbow. They're normally about $140, but sometimes you can get them on sale for like $110 or even $100. You just do a search online on Google, go to the shopping tab, sort by lowest or something. So that makes it work out to be like $25 a kilo, which is still a lot, but it's not as bad. Or Oxbow's haystacks, which are the compressed discs of Timothy hay. Those are a bit cheaper, so they're normally like $25, and it comes in a 1 kilo pack, but sometimes you can find them for like $20. I've seen them for as low as $17, so when I see a good deal, that's when I stock up. I forgot to mention, the reason why they are so expensive is because they are imported. We don't grow it here in Australia. So you're not going to be able to find it at a stock feed store either. Believe me, I tried looking. There's nowhere that has Timothy bales or orchard grass bales. There are some growers of Timothy hay in southern Tassie, but I don't think you can get it over to the mainland. And I think that's where Peter's brand gets their locally grown Timothy hay. But anytime I've seen it, it always looks kind of dull and not the best quality. The greener stuff they have, that's actually grown in Canada, and the price of that is on par with like Oxbow, so it doesn't really matter which brand you get. They're priced about the same, so just pick the one that your bunny prefers. You may be able to find meadow at a stock feed though. So meadow is not a single species of grass like Timothy or oaten. It's usually a mix of different forage grasses, like you could have fescue, ryegrass, other native grasses, weeds. You don't always really know what it contains. So the composition and nutritional value of the meadow hay is going to vary from grower to grower. You just want to make sure there isn't any clover in it because that's very common to be in meadow, and it's a legume hay, so it's high energy and might not be appropriate for your bunny. The only other 2 grass hays I can think of that you may be able to find are teff and rhodes grass. Not as common, but if you do find it and the quality looks good, that's an option that you can mix into your bunny's hay. Now we get to the cereal hays or the grain hays, and these are your oaten, wheat, barley and rye. Oaten is by far the most common one. You can get it at any pet supply store, every brand does it. You can also get it at stock feed stores. The thing with stock feed stores you need to know is that the quality can really be hit or miss. Sometimes you'll be lucky and you'll get like a nice fresh green bale, and other times it's just all yellow dusty stuff. I regularly have to drive around to a bunch of different places to find the best quality one available at the time for my rabbits as well as for our store. The most important thing to know with cereal hays is to make sure that the seeds are still soft, because the hay is supposed to be cut before the seeds mature in order for it to be at its optimal nutritional quality. Once the seeds mature, the nutritional quality significantly drops. So always check the seed heads, make sure that they can still be pressed or squeezed or bent. If they are hard, it's likely that the hay is probably not going to be very good quality anymore. If you get your oaten from a stock feed store, you may find that it's not pure oaten and it may actually contain bits of wheat, barley and rye, and that's not a bad thing. The hays are very similar. They have the longer grain looking seeds that you would usually see on bread packaging, and you can tell them apart by counting the number of seeds inside the husks. There's 1 seed for barley, 2 for rye, or 3 for wheat. The thing with cereal hays that you need to be careful of is the risk of injury from the seeds or the barbs of the wheat, barley and rye seed heads. As long as the hay was cut at the right time, these seeds and barbs should still be pretty soft and not pose any danger. But if you are worried about your bunnies getting pricked or getting cuts inside their mouth, then you can just play it safe and pick them out. If you've been feeding your rabbit just oaten hay and are looking to get them onto some of the grass hay like Timothy or Orchard, don't be surprised if they turn their nose up at it first. Bunnies are like kids and they will always choose the sweeter, tastier option over the healthy one. You just got to keep offering it, because for a lot of bunnies, they just need time to get used to this new food. And as their caretakers, it's our responsibility to make sure that they are eating a varied and balanced diet that's full of fiber. I hope you guys found this video helpful, and I'll speak to you in my next video. Bye! Well, this one smells nicer. Let's see. You've never had this one, have you? Okay, the bunny seems to like this. Oh, I see a little bit of green spots on this one. Let's try orchard grass. You've never had orchard grass, have you, Turbo? Oh, this stuff's really nice. Very green, very soft.